The following is a mix of stories, some fact, some fiction, made by either myself, my friends, or my family. So sit back, relax, and enjoy frightening stories from family and friends. I blinked my eyes. Half asleep, I lied down for what seemed at the time like just a second. I always have this bad habit of trying to catch a few more moments of sleep when I wake up. Each time I lie down, what seems like a few moments turns out to be a few minutes. I opened my eyes what felt like a half second later to the sound of the doorknob turning back and forth. I figured it was just my brother coming back in late. My dog started to whimper and I wasn't sure why, but the only thing I could think to do was to hold her tight as whatever it was kept jiggling at the doorknob. The door opened, and my eyes barely opened as a dim light turned past me. I saw a sweaty man holding a rifle or shotgun with some kind of dim light attached near the end. He had a sadistic grin with long, nasty teeth. His hair was matted and oily. He looked like a mock-up of every slimy trait in every serial killer I've ever seen on television. As he came closer to me and my dog, I covered her face, almost crying, just praying that he wouldn't come any closer to me, praying that he wouldn't see that we were both awake. I couldn't see. I'd closed my eyes so tightly and put my face down against her head. But I knew, somehow I knew he came up right up against me just based on the smell alone. Then I heard him as he started to laugh and wheeze. He went around the corner and cocked the gun. The sound made me shiver uncontrollably. He mockingly said, "Who's there?" after turning the corner. He started taking things out of the entertainment center, out of the shelves. He started down the steps. My dog ran out, and I jumped to get her. I grabbed her and pulled her away from the hallway as he fired a shot randomly at the door. He laughed to himself a little. I held my breath for what felt like forever. I felt he knew I was there. He continued taking things from anywhere he could until his hands were almost full. Throwing them into a bag, I heard him set down the gun and pick up something else. I could see in the hallway it was a large, sharp kitchen knife. He started to make his way down the stairs. I couldn't let this man near my family. I worried if I'd left, they'd be dead. Some other part of me worried that if I stayed still, he'd simply come back and kill me as well. I saw my chance and I took it. When he was all but 2 steps from reaching the basement, I grabbed the shotgun that he had laid down and cocked it, saying, "Get the hell away from here." He grinned, puts his hands up as the knife was still in them. He started slowly stepping back up the stairs. He was halfway up as I centered the gun on him. I'd never fired a gun before in my life, especially not at a person. He grinned even wider as he started up the steps again, knife still gleaming in his hand. I don't want to shoot, but I will," I stated as loudly as I could, my voice still shaking and cracking. He calmly replied, almost sarcastically, "Oh, sure you will." Another step. I started shaking more and more. I could barely hold the gun steady as I started to squeeze the trigger. I expected it to be so much easier, so much lighter, more instant. My finger hurt as I clenched it harder and harder, trying to fire the gun. I closed my eyes tightly, not wanting to see what would happen. Though I couldn't see, I knew he was near me again. I screamed, and I clenched my fist around the gun trigger so hard I thought my finger might break clean off. I felt it move back, and time seemed to slow as it seemed to knock against some lever or lock deep inside the gun. I waited for a response. I waited and I readied myself for a blinding flash, a scream, a loud thundering shot. Instead, I heard something that made my heart stop. Click. I sincerely hope you all enjoyed that story. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for many more. If you didn't enjoy it, well, I'd still like to hear your comments. So share the love, share the hate. Help us make this channel great. Goodbye.